In the middle of the Indian Ocean, beyond the shipping routes, beyond tourism, beyond modern civilization, sits one of the most isolated places on Earth. North Sentinel Island, a place so dangerous, governments forbid anyone from going near it. The people living here are called the Sentinelese. Almost nothing is known about them. No one knows their true population. No one understands their language. And for thousands of years, they have resisted every attempt from the outside world to contact them. The Indian government has banned all travel within several miles of the island, not only to protect outsiders, but to protect the tribe itself. Even a common cold could wipe them out completely. But despite the warnings, people still tried to reach the island. Sailors passing nearby reported seeing armed figures watching them from the trees. Others claimed arrows were fired at boats that drifted too close. Helicopters flying above the island after the 2004 tsunami were met with the same response: arrows, spears, warnings. The Sentinelese wanted one thing made clear: stay away. But in 1981, one ship accidentally drifted too close to the island, and the crew soon realized they might not survive the night. In August 1981, a cargo ship called the Primrose was sailing through the Indian Ocean during a violent storm. Massive waves slammed against the ship for hours. Rain hammered the deck. Visibility vanished into darkness. Then suddenly, the ship struck something beneath the water. The Primrose had run aground near North Sentinel Island. At first, the crew believed rescue would arrive quickly, but as the storm cleared, they realized where they were. The Forbidden Island was only a short distance away, and they were trapped. From the deck, crew members began noticing movement along the shoreline. Dark figures emerging from the jungle, watching, waiting. At first there were only a few. Then more appeared. Some carried spears. Others carried bows. The sailors watched through binoculars as small boats were dragged across the beach. The Sentinelese were preparing to come toward the ship. One crew member later reported seeing arrows being sharpened along the shoreline. The stranded sailors became terrified. They sent desperate radio messages asking for immediate rescue, but rough weather made evacuation nearly impossible. Night was approaching, and the crew believed they might be attacked before morning. For hours, the men stayed awake on deck, staring toward the jungle, watching the figures move silently between the trees, waiting for the sound of boats entering the water. But rescue finally came before the islanders could reach the ship. A helicopter evacuated the stranded crew to safety. The Primrose was abandoned near the island, and the men who survived never forgot what they saw standing on that beach. For decades, governments warned the world to stay away from North Sentinel Island. The Sentinelese had made one thing clear: they wanted to be left alone. Anyone who approached risked death. But in 2018, one man ignored every warning. His name was John Allen Chow, a 26-year-old missionary from the United States. He believed he had been chosen to bring Christianity to the isolated tribe, even though Indian law strictly banned contact with the island. Even though previous visitors had been attacked, he was determined to go anyway. Chow secretly paid local fishermen to take him through the waters surrounding the Forbidden Island. At night, they moved quietly through the darkness to avoid Coast Guard patrols. As the island appeared on the horizon, the fishermen refused to go any closer, so Chow continued alone, in a small kayak, toward one of the most isolated places on Earth. When he first reached the beach, Sentinelese warriors appeared almost immediately. Some carried bows, others carried long spears. Chow tried to speak to them. He even sang worship songs from the kayak. For a moment, the islanders simply stared. Then an arrow flew through the air, striking the Bible he carried in front of his chest. Chow panicked and paddled away from the island, but he returned again the next day, and again, believing he could still reach them peacefully. The fishermen watching from a distance later reported seeing islanders dragging his body across the beach. After that, John Allen Chow disappeared forever. Indian authorities never recovered his remains, and no one has legally set foot on North Sentinel Island since. The Sentinelese remain hidden inside the jungle, watching the ocean, protecting the island from the outside world, just as they have for thousands of years. For centuries, ships, explorers, fishermen, and outsiders have all learned the same lesson about North Sentinel Island: stay away. The Sentinelese never surrendered their island, never joined the modern world, and never stopped defending the shores from anyone who came too close. Even now, while satellites circle above the planet, while the internet connects billions of people, there is still one place almost completely untouched by the outside world. A place where ancient life continues in silence beneath the jungle canopy. No roads, no phones, no modern civilization. Only the sound of waves crashing against the beach, and eyes watching from the trees. The world may never fully understand who the Sentinelese are, how they live, what they believe, or what secrets remain hidden deep inside the island, because every person who tried to force contact was met with the same warning: leave. And maybe that mystery is what makes North Sentinel Island so terrifying. Not because we know what is there, but because we don't.